Welcome to another video. We'll be learning about stress management and starting off with the actual definition of stress and the impact it has on your health. Now, we're going to be covering a sequel of videos to help you deal with this critical aspect of your daily life. At every single point in time, whatever walk of life, whether you are a student, you are a professional, you're an old guy, young guy, whatever it is, you're going to be exposed to certain stressors. And once we say the word stressors, these are things within your environment, let's say, that apply a stimulus to your system, which means something that's going to be provoking a response from your system, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. Now, once you are engaging with a stressor, you do have a natural response, which is the flight or fight response, which is by instinct. When you try to respond to such stressor by either reacting, you want to actually fight back, or you want to escape the stressor, or freeze in your place. Now, these are natural responses that are wired in our brains, and there's nothing much in terms of rewiring that part, let's say. However, if you are under stress for a prolonged period of time, this is problematic because it has physical, mental, and emotional impacts on your life. Now, let's start off by defining what is stress in general. Stress, if you're going to be quite technical about it, it's a hormone. It's cortisol mainly, which is released from the brain during that stage, which is fight or flight, which is going to engulf your brain in order to push you to react, whether fight, flight, or freeze, with response to the stressor or the perceived danger in that sense. Now, that mechanism, if you are being chased by a lion or you are being hunted down for whatever reason it is, it's very helpful because it will ensure your survival. But unfortunately, with the current world status, let's say, the whole post-COVID situation, the COVID situation, work environment, the influx of information all around you, all of these things, unfortunately, they cause a certain level of stress that your brain has to deal with. Think about it this way. When you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you're working from 9 to 6, 8 to 6, 9 to 5, whatever your work schedule is. You're dealing with your manager, you're dealing with your boss, you're dealing with your teammates, you're dealing with the workload requirements. All of these things, they add up to your plate in terms of stress. So which shoots up your cortisol level in order to deal with it. But the problem with that, if it's temporary, that's perfectly fine. If it happens for a day or two, that's perfectly okay. A week, a month, that's fine. Because the cycle of cortisol goes up and down. Once you wake up in the morning, the cortisol level goes up in order to stress you out and move, in order to get on with your day. But the downside is, if that level is maintained for a prolonged period of time, where your cortisol levels are high day in and day out, it literally impairs the physical structure of your brain. Your brain shrinks. Look it up. If you do have cortisol level which is sky high, it really shrinks your brain, which impairs the way you think, cognitive skills, decision-making skills, focus. These are related to the mentality part. Now, physically, you feel tired, you feel drained, you lack energy. Emotionally, you feel fatigued, you feel emotionally drained, you're lacking motivation. And the worst part about the entire thing, you start off wondering what is going on, and you have no idea what is actually going on until someone points it out for you. This is the risky part about being stressed all the time. You're physically paying for it, you're mentally paying for it, you're emotionally paying for it, and you have no idea that you're actually paying for it. So stress is actually the root cause of all of the problems physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's not obesity, it's not blood pressure, cholesterol levels. All of these things, in my own opinion, they are secondary, but the primary reason that comes, or they stem from, Stress, think about it this way. If someone has, let's say, weight issues, weight problems, or blood pressure, or they are excessively fatigued, they're excessively drained, take a look at their root cause. You will realize that they have been stressed for quite too long. Mentally, if someone is anxious, someone is depressed, someone has an anxiety issue, someone has whatever problems, keeping in mind all of us, we're humans, no one is perfect, all of us, we deal with this at one point or another, and you have to be quite realistic about it. Now, in these videos that we're going to be sharing at the Office Fitness, we are not just simply telling you the things that you should or shouldn't do. We're sharing based on experience. We're sharing things that worked for us, and we're just simply passing on that information to you. Hopefully it works out for you as well. Simple as that. Because the whole concept of you should do this, you shouldn't do that, doesn't really work, because no one should dictate anything to anyone. On the contrary, we're just simply sharing our experience, sharing what works, with the hopes that it benefits some other individual at a point in time within their life. So that being said, if you're trying to deal with stress, you want to manage stress, the first thing to keep in mind is you want to identify what is stress. So we covered that part. Now, the second thing we'd like to cover in this current video, we're going to be talking about this with further more details in the upcoming videos. So make sure that you join the channel, subscribe to the growing community, and we'll see you in the upcoming releases for sure. You're going to identify the reasons behind the stress. Why are you being stressed? And this is where you simply sit down and reflect. Take a look at the things going on in your life and try to identify what we call as the stressors. When we say the word stressors, the reasons that are actually getting you into that position where you feel stressed. It could be physically, mentally, emotionally. Just simply write them down. This is the second step. Now, this is the initial step that you should take for successful stress management. There are habits you should develop, there are practices you should apply, there are things you should take into account in order to reduce the levels of stress. And hopefully we're going to be covering all of these things with multiple videos, a series of videos tackling stress management. If that's of interest to you, join our growing community and join our channel and stay tuned for the latest releases. And don't forget to join our newsletter to stay tuned for the latest updates related to Office Fitness, in which we're going to help you develop health and wealth to facilitate your life just a bit, make it a bit easier. And hopefully you found the video quite helpful, and we'll see you in the upcoming release.